Hello, welcome to Studio Nicole. I am Nicole and I am so glad that you're here. Today I want to flip through my finished 2025 weekly memory keeping journal. I have a creative journal process and I go through once a week and I create a spread that documents the week. And I've just finished my 2025 journal. It's what? January 19th. So I'm a couple of weeks into January already. But it's been, busy. So I just hadn't been able to finish this last page until last night. Actually, I finished it last night. So I thought I would do a flip through and go over some of the adventures and, um, fun stuff that happened in 2025. So this is probably going to be a pretty long, chatty video. So if you're looking for a shorter version, I will post just a quiet. No, I probably won't actually. It's not really an art journal where you can just like flip through the pages and like keep going. Like there's a lot on each page, and I don't think a quiet flip through is necessarily going to make sense. So, if you don't want to hear me chat, and if you want this to go faster, I would recommend turning the volume down and the speed up and just zipping through this video that way. All right, so this was a just a plain notebook with plain. It is colored paper, but it was just a regular notebook when I started, and I covered the cover with an alcohol ink process, and I'm actually in the middle of covering the new one, my 2026 journal. It's the exact same journal, and I'm using a similar technique, and I am recording a tutorial on how to do that. So that video should be up shortly, but for now, here we go. The inside cover is always kind of a hodgepodge of quotes and things that kind of jump out at me throughout the year, stickers and quotes. I will print them out and kind of just stick them at the front. If I have enough, then I will start on the back inside cover as well. This year I didn't really do much. I just have this one. I do usually stick an envelope to the back cover so that as I'm going through the year, if I print pictures ahead or if I have things that I want to tuck in, um, like I haven't yet journaled this week, but here are some things from that week. I'll just take them and like tuck them into the envelope so that they stay together so I don't lose those things. So I will do that with the new one, but for now, um, I have quite a range of things. There's some Gen X bingo, uh, Keanu Reeves quote. This is a sticker from Amsterdam. There is a lot of language in this journal, so if you don't like the F word, maybe don't zoom in and read many of these quotes. My like intention for 2025 was good enough. I wanted to try to like tone down my perfectionism. Um, it's funny because my intention for 2026 is do less, which is a very similar which is a similar vibe. So I'm still trying to like turn the volume down a little bit because I do have a tendency to do a lot and to go go hard. So here we go. Here we go. I've got this was New Year's. This was this first week, and I didn't have stickers yet for this one. It looks, oh yeah, I do. It's right here. It's just not up in the corner. Here I'll come down a little bit so we can get a little closer. So this was December 30th to January 5th, and I just was documenting kind of our New Year's. I have some journaling on here, and I spent that day celebrating with my sisters. I also keep track of the books that I've read um, and some notes about the year. Look, here's the journal cover that I made. It's right there. All right. So January 6th to January 12th, I get these planner stickers off of Etsy. Um, so we had some snow at the beginning of last year, and then I was back on campus. I have a picture of my desk and some creative projects that I worked on. This is a cluster that I made. I made a whole bunch of these, and I just put one on a card front and attached it in here. Um, I have some information here from the Orchid May collection, which is it's like the flower letters. My husband got me that for Christmas last year, and so I got my first letter and I included it here in the week of January 13th to the 19th. Um, some pictures of the semester starting and me working out at the gym, some books. I ended up reading 96 books last year. It's funny, you can't even see this, but there really is writing here. It's just blue on blue. So it looks like nothing on the screen. I read 96 books in 2025. So you'll see books pretty much on every page, the books that I read. Sometimes I put like reviews. Here is our January bake sale, some pictures from baking and from setting up. And I'm actually getting ready to bake tonight for this year's bake sale. We do one at the beginning of every semester. I got new glasses at the beginning of last year. This was our semester schedule for our Outdoor Adventure Club events. I have a one-piece card sleeve here. My son collects them. This was us at the ice skating rink. This was our first Outdoor Adventure Club event of the semester, ice skating. This week we actually went snow tubing, which I had never been snow tubing before, but that was super fun. We went up to Blue Mountain in Pennsylvania and we did some snow tubing there with students. I like to put little like flaps and cards and tucks and things in. So this was fun. It talked about the snow tubing experience a little bit. My husband sold his Nova, which, funny story, in November, several months later, he bought that same Nova back. I don't know if I have that in here, actually. I should. Um, Mid-February, it was just snow and snow and more snow and more snow and more snow. So again, if you don't like the F word, I apologize. We were watching Ted Lasso. I had watched it previously, but I enjoyed watching it with my husband because I thought he would enjoy it. This was from my Valentine's Day card that my husband gave me. Got it kind of tucked in here a little bit. I do have post-it notes covering people's faces if they are like students or people who haven't given me permission to include them, or if I think that they're easy to see. We are moving through February here. Nothing real exciting happening this week. It doesn't look like, except I was really pretty unhappy with more snow. Definitely, for sure. End of February, we have the indoor rock climbing trip. This is a picture of me way up on top of it and looking down at the students from the top. That was an outdoor adventure club trip as well. It was a lot of fun. And lots of cooking. There are lots of pictures of me cooking because I do a lot of cooking from scratch. So these are dinners. This is breakfast one day. Back here, I remember seeing like a big stack of dishes. So this year, there's some more cooking pictures. I'm off screen here. This year I started cooking all of our dinners on Sunday nights and then just putting them in the fridge or in the freezer for the rest of the week. And it really worked pretty well, I think. So I'm pretty happy about that. But I do have a lot of pictures of cooking because cooking was it took up almost the entire day on Sunday. Moving into March, feeling a little springy. The colors are getting a little brighter, and I've got some little flower notes. Um, This week we went to Shenandoah with students. We went hiking in the mountains and we did a trip to Luray. I need to come up a little so you can see the whole page. So there are some pictures here from that trip. It was it's a lot to take students on a big trip like that, but we're planning again this year. So it was fun and I'm excited to go again. This is the second half of the semester, and we started the study abroad course that was going to Amsterdam. So this was our first Friday class for that with that group. We made journals to document our travels in the Netherlands. So that was a lot of fun. We have some game night pictures. This is my cat laid out on the game board. We were playing Ticket to Ride, and she wanted to be a part of that. I got my parking spot on campus for being the Excellence in Teaching award recipient. And then we've got Jersey Mike's Day of Giving happening in late March, where I got to go to work and work with my son, who's a GM at a store um, nearby. March 31st through April 1st, moving into April. I just have some beautiful watercolored flowers. I did these using my new watercolor palette that I had just gotten. And so I was doing a lot of that. Um, yeah, I don't have a whole lot going on at this point. These pretzels, man, I definitely would go up and get these pretzels every chance that I got. I was excited about that. Um, Moving into April, what's going on? Game night. We have a couple of different game nights. Game night with the family, game night with some friends. Playing Mario Kart. Lots of books, lots of reading. Oh, I don't know if you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. Ooh, that didn't really work, but here's here are all the flowers. Like I made all these flowers and rainbows and things. That's kind of like my whole desk picture of all of them. This is our spring paint night painting. I do a fundraiser on campus every semester. So that was our painting. It was my sister's birthday. We did some eating out. It was warm enough to sit outside and grill and have the fire pit going. Some classes at the studio. Then we went to Goat Joy for a goat social. This was an outdoor adventure club trip where we got to play with baby goats. Um, we started watching MASH with my son. I was so excited to get these shoes. I got two different pairs of these shoes that really work well with my feet. I have all kinds of like foot problems, so it was hard to find shoes that I like, but I found two pair at Goodwill for like $8 a piece. It was totally worth it. I bought a real suitcase for the first time in my life in anticipation of my study abroad trip. So I was excited about that. We are going into May. Some books, some art journal classes. This cooking club. We had cooking club at my friend Carrie's house. This week was the retreat in Pennsylvania. This is a journal making retreat. So here's some pictures of my desk and all of the projects that I made. I don't know quite how to zoom in enough. Some of the people that we met. I went to Shady Maple Buffet. I made these heart garlands and then came home on Mother's Day. So my kids got me some roses. Moving on into May, the 12th through the 18th. We went out and celebrated Mother's Day. We had dinner out. It's time to start mowing the lawn for the year. And oh, and I bought my this right here. I'm tapping it. The overhead phone mount with ring light is what I bought. So because after coming home from this retreat, I decided I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I was inspired, and so I started buying the things that I needed. So I didn't actually start it for another month or so after this, but this week is when I got the ring light. Some pictures here of our anniversary. This is my husband and my 23rd wedding anniversary. And documenting the fact that my cat is a complete brat. Here we have that. This was a really, really busy week, and I tried to capture that. So each one of these pages flips up, and there's some journaling underneath. I had big events every day this week. It was my son's 21st birthday. Then we had graduation on campus. We had Campus Community Day. I'm the co-chair of that committee, so it was a big event. Employee recognition was held on our campus this year, so that was a big event. And then after that weekend, like I was leaving Monday to go to study abroad, so there was a lot of packing and things to get done that weekend. Um, so some pictures of those events and things. This book, and you can't really see it. Get us a little closer here. This is the book cover. Um, I'm starting to worry about this Black Box of Doom by Jason Pargin. Actually ended up being my favorite book of the year, I think. I was surprised. I did not expect that, but it was really good. I really liked it. So, again, more pictures from all of those events. And here's our trip. This is the trip to Amsterdam, Delft, and The Hague. This is a map, obviously, of the city, and then I have some pictures on both sides. I have covered up all of the students' faces, so I'm not sharing those online, but there are several pictures in here of our trip and the food and some of what we did while we were there. I have documented this trip in many ways. I have created an entire Amsterdam journal where I've got all my photos copied in. I do need to do a flip through of that. And I also created a Shutterfly book and printed that out as well. I just realized I have it nearby. So other than hiding the students' faces, this is the Shutterfly book where I'm documenting the same photos. So I didn't do a whole lot of journaling here because I will do that in other ways and other places. Came back in June and I've got a little some tags kind of tucked in here, some flips. Went over and got these sandwiches are so good. I definitely enjoy those, and it's like an hour away, so I only get these when I'm over that way, but it's good. I don't know if you can see, there's like this big, like it looks like a grease stain here on this journaling. It's from this air freshener. Like when it closes, I guess the scent is like smearing onto the other page. It's funny. I didn't realize it would do that. So if you use air fresheners in your journaling, beware. It will still smells. This I think is this the week when I actually released my first video? This is Studio Nicole. It might be the next week, actually. I think it's this week. So this is the week of my youngest son's birthday. So we went go-karting and I have some journaling here about that. And then these are my first couple of videos right here. So I have those documented here. My first couple videos. So this is when it first started, was mid-June 2025. We went to Coastal Wilds. I took my mother-in-law and my kids. These are some journal making classes that I taught. I am out at this point. I think this was the week that I was out of off campus for the summer. So the summer fun has begun at this point. Um, Documenting some books and some shows that I was watching. My husband got a new vehicle. He got this GMC Acadia. It's an older one. It's a 2011. So it's not new, but it's new to us. Then from June into July, the big story this week was my younger son, because he had just turned 19. He wanted to get a tattoo for his birthday. So that's what this is. It's an Ouroboros in the shape of an infinity symbol. Lots of flips and little flappy things for July 4th on here. I like to use like those page a day calendars or like affirmation decks. This is what is this? Like a price tag from an item that we bought. So I will stick just about anything into my journal, honestly. This was really exciting. One of my videos had 1.3 thousand views, which was kind of neat. It was a short. But I was only a couple of weeks old at that point, and it was really exciting. I was like, oh my gosh. So that was fun. This week, a couple of friends from work and I went to Bombay Hook National Wildlife Refuge and did like a exploratory hike in order to prepare a trip for students. It was very buggy, unfortunately, and it wasn't a whole lot of fun, but we did go back in the fall and we had a great time then. So just don't do it in July is my suggestion. I also kayaked with another friend of mine, and that was a lot of fun. I like to document my subscriber numbers. So in July, I had 51 subscribers. I was very excited about that number. I like to see how it grows. So I've tipped in this fair pamphlet from the program. Got some pictures on here of our fun at the fair, and then on the back, some information about the concert that my husband and I went to. We went and saw Blues Traveler, and it was awesome. I loved it. Very much a Gen X concert. It was like the Spin Doctors, the Gin Blossoms, and Blues Traveler. It was a great trip. I mean, great concert. What do we got? Moving on. Oh, this was the start of my 100 days of biking. Evan, my younger son, was like, I think I'm going to do 100 days of biking. And I said, I'm in. Let's go. So I started getting up and biking every day. And at this point, we were still biking kind of together. That didn't last super long. Our schedules just aren't really very coordinated, so it didn't last very long. But we did start out biking together. Some books, and then we were watching Stick for a little while. These all came from the fair as well, from one of the shops at the fair. I glued those in. Moving into August, more biking. I went on a beach day with my sister. We had an absolute blast. We took silly photo booth pictures and we actually recreated one of our pictures from when we were kids, like the old timey photos. We tried to redo that as adults, and it was an absolute fail. We are clearly not 15 anymore. More biking here, just continuing that trend. I did dye my hair purple before I went back on campus for the fall semester. That was a lot of fun. I loved it. I wish it had lasted longer, though. It didn't last very long. Back on campus, August 11th, still biking. I took my mother-in-law to a goat social at the Goat Joy place, which is the same place we took students, way back here in the spring, whenever we did that. I remember seeing it. There it is, Goat Joy. So I took her to the same place for her birthday because I thought she would love playing with the baby goats. And she did. It was a great trip. We had a good time there. Moving on through August, still biking, more art classes. Family came down, the Renaissance Fair. We went. I got to see Jacques the Whipper at the fair. It was super cool to see him in person. I've been subscribed to him on YouTube and just I love like cracking up watching him do his thing. So it was fun to see him in person. Lots of gym notes about going back to the gym. This is a movie ticket that's just about faded. Like I can almost barely read it, but it's the Fantastic Four movie we went to see. End of August, mostly just classes starting up. We did some work at our house. We had a landscaper come in and do some work so you can kind of see the before and the after, the before and the after. And then we had a big family reunion that we hosted. Here's our other bake sale. So this is our fall bake sale. We do one twice a year. So like I said earlier, I'm getting ready to do some baking. As soon as I'm done recording this video, actually, I'm going to go bake for our January one. Some one-piece cards. My son gave me one that says, I love you. I thought that was cute. So I put it in here. And we bought some mums. More baking. I mean, more, not baking, biking. Same thing, right? More biking. Getting about halfway through the 100 days at that point. And then early September, we went to Orlando. We went down to the new park, Epic Universe. We also visited Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios. We stayed at Helios and then the Hard Rock Hotel. We kind of split our stay up because when we first booked the tickets, that was the only way we could get 2 days at Epic. So I have some documentation here of the cool stuff about that trip. I really did enjoy Helios. The light show at the park was absolutely gorgeous. That was, I think, my favorite part. My younger son and I went to Discovery Cove and we went snorkeling for the first time and swam with dolphins. So there's some pictures of that, and that was really a cool experience. It's never enough time, so I wish that we had been able to stay for longer, but it was a fun trip. Coming back on campus for the fall, I have our fall outdoor adventure club schedule. We went kayaking at the beach and we did some biking. I did my biking at the state park. I got a new phone. This is a picture of my new phone. I took a picture with somebody else's phone and then sent it to myself so that I could actually have a picture of the new phone. And now I've had to buy a new case, so it doesn't even look like this anymore. I went back to the Renaissance Festival again. There had been like a ticket mix up, and I had gotten tickets for the later date first, but then nobody else could go on that date. So then I got tickets for an earlier date to go with a couple of friends of mine, but then I still had the tickets that I got for this date. So I took a different friend. I got to go twice. It was fine. I had an absolute blast. She had never been to this Renaissance fair before, so that was always, a fun day. And then it was my husband's birthday, so we were celebrating his birthday. Finishing out September, I'm still biking every day. Then we've got some shish kebabs on the grill. We went zip lining and we did the ropes course at Go Ape with the Outdoor Adventure Club. This is the week that I started my Oracle deck, and it took me until the rest of the year. Like I didn't finish it until right before Christmas. We did some game night. We were playing Taco Cat and Uno Stacco. So that's always fun. Then this week was my birthday week. I got a cupcake from a friend of mine, and my coworkers decorated my door. I went out to dinner with my son, and we had a terrible dinner, which was kind of disappointing. We went to see Cat Williams. My husband and I went to see Cat Williams. It was a fun show. Mr. Cooper, hanging with Mr. Cooper was there. And I was more excited about that, I think, than I was about Cat Williams. It was a fun show though. I had a good time. Um, let's see, mid-October, lots of indoor biking. It looks like these are lots of gym pictures. It must have been raining that week. Let's see, my niece's birthday, then prepping for camping. And this week we went camping with the Outdoor Adventure Club. These are some postcards from the park where we stayed, and it was absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. But I will say that it was 30 degrees the first night, and it was so cold. It is way too cold. The second night we were there, it warmed up by about 10 degrees and it was actually perfect. Like 40 degrees sounds really cold, but it was perfect to camp. But 30 was just too cold. 30 was a no for sure. But none of us freeze to death. We all survived. We had a great time. It was a good weekend and a great trip. And I think the students really enjoyed it. But thank God for hot hands, hand warmers. I will say that. Nothing real special going on this week. Um, just more biking. I did the Adopt a Highway cleanup. We were doing some golf ball fundraiser stuff, cleaning golf balls. My son went to a trunk or treat and decorated it up for Jersey Mike's. So this is his little like trunk setup there. And then this weekend, my husband and I took off and went to Shenandoah National Park, just the two of us. We did the Bear Fence hike, which is a rock scramble, and we had a good time. We had a really nice time. We got to go see Luray Caverns and do some hiking, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite weekend trips from the year. So this was the end of my 100 days of biking. So that was my last day, and I have my little tracker sheet copied in here. I did the entire 100 days without missing a day. I did sometimes bike at like 5 a.m. and sometimes I biked at 11:30 p.m. But I did get it done every single day. I didn't miss a day, so that was a real accomplishment. A new update on my Studio Nicole YouTube channel. I have 223 subscribers at this point in October. So I have come a long way from the 51 back here in July. Look, I just flipped right to that page. Perfect. November started out with me working on these DIY Oracle deck cards. We took our trip back to Bombay Hook. I got some great pictures. The students had a good time. It was a great day. It was a really nice day to be out there. Much better than being there in July. So keep that in mind. More cooking pictures, cooking. More books, more movies. Um, November, I start getting into kind of my seasonal affective disorder. Things start to wind down, and I don't have as much energy. So I missed some journaling here. I was playing mahjong a little bit. We were watching The Witcher. I'm really sad that they changed the. It's not Henry Cavill anymore, and that makes me sad. Um, but what are you gonna do? This is the ad that I answered about teaching at the new studio, the Laurel Exchange and Studio. And so this week is when I answered that ad. I had no idea where that was going to go when I did it, but I felt like it was a reasonable next step for me. So now here we are. I'm teaching several classes there this month. So that's exciting. November, I took a trip down to, I want to say North Carolina, or South Carolina. Why can't I remember? With a friend of mine. So we had a nice little road trip. I did a paint night fundraiser. I have a video up about that paint night if you want to see that process. My son did a job fair on campus and he was teaching us how to sprinkle, which is like the Jersey Mike's oil and vinegar. That was fun. Um, and then we have Thanksgiving week. So I have some pictures from Thanksgiving with my family. We put our Christmas tree up. We watched Wizard of Oz, which is something we don't usually do, but it was on and it was a neat Yeah, it was just a neat experience. I haven't seen it in a long time. So it's very, very retro and sentimental. Some work stuff I was kind of unhappy about there, but what are you gonna do? You just deal with it and move on. This was the first paint party that I did at the new studio, the Laurel Exchange that I was just talking about. So we had that, and it was great. We didn't have a lot of people there, but the it was a nice night, and I'm glad that I kind of took that chance opportunity. That's the word. It's not really a chance. It's like I'm glad that I followed up with that ad. We went to see the Christmas parade and decorated my mother-in-law's tree. We had a little Christmas craft party with my sisters and my family, and these pictures popped up. I don't know if you can see this. These pictures popped up on my Facebook memories from my kids and my husband from like 12 years ago, and I absolutely love those pictures. It really makes you like God love Facebook memories, but like doesn't it make you kind of sad that the time is going by? Like it's so sentimental. You look back and you're like, oh, where did the time go? So I was struggling with migraines in December, and I was keeping my office light, like my overhead light off, and just like operating by this little lamp, and it just looked so cozy. So I took a little picture of it because that's what December looked like in my office with all the lights off. An update on the studio Nicole. I have 250 subscribers at this point in December. Was doing some shopping for the saran wrap bowls that I make every year. I found a lot of stuff on clearance. So these are all, and it's hard to see on camera. These are all 25-cent stickers from the Dollar Tree. And then we made fudge over here this week before Christmas. We made fudge. This is actually the first year that I've ever made it. I always like help out and watch my kids and my husband, but this year I actually made a batch myself. I did these why can't I think of what that's called? Diamond art, like diamond painting, but they were feathers. I actually have the actual feather right here. So this is the actual one. I just took a picture of it and cut it out. And I wanna host like a craft night party thing where we make some of these. I think that'd be a fun project to do with some friends. I also got my CPR certification, which I haven't had in several years, maybe 10 years it's been. So it's good to have that back. More books down here for the year. This atmosphere had me absolutely bawling in the car. Like I was sobbing. I had to pull over on the side of the road because I could not stop crying. It was pretty bad. I mean, it was a good book. Please don't get me wrong, it's a great book, but shoo. And then we had Christmas week. So I have some projects and some this is our Lego day. This is actually after Christmas. This is not really in the best order, but I was kind of running out of room. So these were my DIY Oracle cards. These were 2 days I had lunch out the week before Christmas while I was off campus. This was a picture of my younger son. We were watching back all my old VHSC videos from when the boys were like babies. So this is just a picture of the video on screen. This was me making my own handwriting font. And then I have some Christmas pictures from actual Christmas here on this page, and some scraps from the wrapping paper from this year. And then finally, the last week of the year was December 29th through January 4th. Pictures of the boys putting together the weight set that my husband got actually for Christmas. I went out for dinner with a friend of mine. I've been watching Poldark, which is awesome, and I want to keep watching it. And this was the VIP night at Jersey Mike's because they were getting ready to open. And then I finish out my yearly planner with some like end of the year in review things. And I did a whole video on this. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But basically, I have a list of my 52 projects that I completed in 2025. Every year, I make a list of usually more than 52. And I try to do at least 52 projects every year, one for each week. And some of them are like big projects, like go to Amsterdam. I've never been to Amsterdam. It's a huge trip. But some of them are smaller, like um, be a guest on a podcast. I did that this year. Or watch Enemy Mine, which is a movie from like 1990, 1980 something. And I watched it with my kids, but I haven't seen it in 20 some odd years. And so it was kind of like a memorable event. So I put it on my project list. Then I have a Pinterest printout. This is a printout of my Pinterest board with all of the books that I read in 2025. There were 96 pins this year, so 96 books. I have a list of things I'm loving, and I keep this on my phone in Google Keep, and I just update it periodically. So like as I find things that make me happy or that I'm loving, I just add them to the list. And it's 100-ish things I'm loving because I don't worry about trying to get specifically to 100 this year. I just had the page. I think it's 88. Yeah, this year I made it to 88. So I had 88 things that I love from this year. This is my year in review. I ask some questions at the end of every year, and everybody in my family, like both my kids, my husband, and I, answer those questions. Things like the best thing you did for someone else this year, your favorite movie or show of the year, your most embarrassing moment, something you learned to do, your biggest lesson learned, your most newsworthy event, an achievement you're proud of, a great compliment you received, something you'll never do again. So these are my answers. I do have everybody else's answers in the original spreadsheet, but this is just the ones I printed out. And then I have kind of a year in the numbers. So I talked about my YouTube channel. I talked about my Samsung Health um, statistics, Duolingo. At the end of the year, I had a 429-day streak, and my Spotify, like wrapped statistics. I do meditation through calm.com. So I just put in my like updated total sessions and minutes count, and then my library usage. So my current holds, TBR, and books read this year. And that's it. That's the end of my book. I have a couple of blank pages, and honestly, I probably will cut these pages out. These last two, I probably would just slice them out to use them in another project, so that they're not just empty pages sitting here in a book. Because these pages are too gorgeous not to use. They're so pretty. So that, folks, is my 2025 year in review. It was a busy year. I went on several trips, took lots of students on adventures, um, fundraisers and art classes and projects here in my studio, and building my YouTube channel, and going on the retreat, study abroad, Amsterdam, and then Orlando and Shenandoah twice. Um, it was a great year. It was an exciting year. I had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get into my 2026 journal and start documenting all the fun adventures that are coming up. I'm trying to plan some fun stuff. I have a few things on the horizon that I'm excited about. And so, yeah. So, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you being here and sitting with me through this video. If you had a good time and enjoyed it, please like this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you're more than welcome to do so. I would love it if you did. If you are already a subscriber, thank you for being a subscriber, and thank you for being here and joining me. And I will see you in the next video, folks. Have a great day. Thanks.